Mike Newton.
And I'm Jessica, and you're listening to Slash&Slay, a Twilight podcast.
Where the hell have you been, Loca?
Alyssa!
Emily!
Where the hell have you been, Loca?
Audience.
You're so tan and buff all of a sudden.
Thank you.
And you look really sweaty.
I was sick with mono.
Mono? I thought you only get that from kissing and...
No.
No. I actually wrote down something. Well, mentally wrote down. Made a note of it in my head about that part.
About that? The
About
mono
that
part?
Specific part.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get to that.
When we get to that, because today we are talking about New Moon.
The Twilight Saga?
Twilight Saga.
New Moon?
New Moon.
Twilight Saga New Moon.
Yes. It's the second book / movie in the series, if you didn't know that.
First off, I do want to mention I watched Twilight last night.
Yes.
I actually got the extended.
That's amazing.
And I've never
seen
I didn't even know we got the extended version. I was like, that's not in this. What is this? That's not in this movie. And
honestly, extended scenes throw everything off for me. I love seeing them, but like this is a little bit of a derailment, but I've been watching for several months now since they've been coming out, the Office Superfan episodes, which are like deleted scenes. And look, I knew the Office regular scenes like the back of my hand. So having these new scenes in, even though some of them are funny and it adds more, I'm like, I don't know this. I don't know this. So anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
That's like whenever Taylor Swift like does the vault songs.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I don't know this. Like I still love them, but I'm like, I don't know this.
What is this?
There was definitely a few that I was like, we need to cut.
Good thing they cut that.
Glad they cut that one. I sent Alyssa a video of one that looked like it was from The Office. Like it looked like an episode from The Office because they like zoomed in on Laurent and he's literally like
watching James and Victoria make out against like a tree.
Crazy. It was just so funny. My sister and I just bust out laughing. And I just watching it again. The thing that I have the most problem is Bella's noises.
Her like her
moaning and like she's always just like
yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a one like
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it's just
like, she'll just be like
her facial. We're like, I don't understand how because Kristen Stewart is not a bad actress. I've seen her in other things.
She was young,
but she was also in Panic Room. Which when she was younger, there was like another movie, Speak, that she was in when she was younger, like before Twilight, and she did not act like that. So I'm like, what prompted her to act this way?
The directing,
I guess.
And then once you do it that way, you're gonna have to do it the whole.
You have to keep up with it.
Yeah, it was just the moaning and groaning. She just and then when she first sees Edward and she like bites her lip, I was like, you're in the lunch table. Yes, I was like, this is gross. But we're not here to talk about Twilight.
We're not here to talk about
I'm
Twilight.
just letting y'all know I did watch it.
Because we've moved on from Twilight and we're talking about
New Moon. I have to confess, I have like 2 more hours of the audiobook, so I haven't quite finished it.
Oh my gosh, you don't know how to...
I forgot. No, I did read it last year, so it's pretty fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Initial. Where does this rank for you?
See, okay, when I read it, the whole time I was like, where's Edward? Where's Edward? When's Edward coming back? Like, why is he not here yet? Why hasn't she heard from him? So much of the book kept going by and I was like, okay.
Waiting for Edward.
Okay, I get the whole thing that's happening with the wolves and all that, but where is Edward? And so it stressed me out the whole time. But like looking back, like or reading it back and watching the movie back, the movie to me is the best adaptation from the book, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And the book was not my favorite. The book was not my favorite because Jacob annoys the shite out of me.
I don't know.
He's better in New Moon. I will say he is probably his best in New Moon because
he's still not angry Jacob,
right?
Angry protective Jacob.
Yeah,
he's still just little golden retriever.
He's not possessive Jacob yet.
Yeah.
So
that's your ranking.
That's my ranking.
Is it like okay? Number
what
one. Number one adaptation.
Number one adaptation.
But is it your favorite?
It's not my favorite book. It's maybe third.
Okay. What about movie?
It's maybe second.
Okay.
Maybe first. I don't know. I didn't think
I do really like New Moon, but it's just like the depression part makes me so sad.
It's really in the book especially.
Sad. Yes, because she's not doing well.
And she like literally walks around like a zombie thinking she's like being
acting
super
all
peppy.
Normal. Yeah.
Anyways, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
About what happens.
What happens in New Moon?
So we open on a dream sequence where Bella is in the meadow and she's looking at her grandmother across from the meadow and her grandmother has died. So she's like, this has to be a dream.
What is she doing here?
And Edward comes up
in the sun,
sparkling in the sun, and puts a hand on her grandmother's shoulder. But she realizes that he's also putting a hand on her shoulder. And how can this be?
And she's like, don't let her see you, Edward. You're sparkling.
She thinks that Granny's going to figure out the secret, even though she's dead.
Yes.
Come on,
it's
Bella.
A dream.
This
it's
is
a dream.
The first, right there is the first, her logic and things. This is why we're titling this episode Is Bella Stupid?
Yes.
Because I think she is. I think she prefacing, we have the same information, like when you're first reading the books, we have the same information that Bella has because it's from her point of view. Why can she not figure this stuff out?
Oh, like in this
why does
particular...
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
It drives me insane.
I agree. And I think she's just so enamored with her own self-thoughts that she cannot see.
Which Jacob does say.
Yeah.
In this. So.
It's true.
It's true.
So the horrible nightmare that is aging comes upon her when she's turning 18. That grandma, she's wrinkly, crinkly,
old, decrepit woman now.
Yes.
Because she's so much older than Edward, who
is
102.
Yeah.
But stopped at 17. I'm like, again, I don't get her logic because he is not actually 17, honey bunny.
Whenever last night when I was watching the gazebo scene and he said, isn't it just enough to live a long, happy life with me? And I just like, oh.
And she's like, no.
She said, for now. Like, girl. Like, I understand when I don't know. I don't even really, like, if you can't expect Edward to look past you being like 90 years old, wrinkly.
Right.
But you look past him being an actual vampire.
Yeah.
Like what? Anyway, she's stupid. She is stupid. Confirmed.
Yes. But anyway, she realizes it's her in the mirror. And she's afraid of getting old. She wakes up on her birthday. Her 18th birthday. And she's so mad that it's her birthday because because she's going to be older than Edward now. But not really.
And she apparently hates her birthday more than anything in this whole entire world.
Of course.
She hates prom on her birthday. Anything fun, she hates
it.
Yes.
Literally anything that's like normal people like, she hates because she like, she's not that kind of girl.
Yeah. So they go through her birthday day. She's just very adamant.
No gifts.
Birthday,
no one say it's my birthday. No gifts.
No gifts. Nothing. She gets a camera from her mom and Charley. Also, do you find it weird that she always calls her parents
Renee and Charley?
Renee? Yeah.
Yes, it is weird. So again, one of those.
Maybe, I mean, some people are raised like that, but she still says dad and mom sometimes too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
She calls them in the book. She calls them Renee and Charley when she's talking about them.
Yes.
But she calls them mom and dad to their face. So that's what's
sometimes
she does call them.
Which is so weird.
I don't get it. Anyways.
I only call my mom Gladys when she's being crazy.
Yeah, I only call my mom Lori when I'm like trying to get her attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lori.
Don't yell at Lori. Anyway, so she goes about her birthday. And then
Alice has a party planned for her at the Cullens house.
Oh, that is the worst thing
it's
I
the
could
worst
possibly
thing.
imagine.
Doesn't want to go.
A birthday party full of people you love.
She's trying to get out of it the whole time.
And Edward's like, if I was Edward, I'd be so annoyed.
I'd be so annoyed. I'd be like, my sister is doing something so nice for you. Can you stop thinking about yourself for once?
I would be just like, the fact that she would continue to complain about something for no like reason at all. Like there's no reason she could possibly give to not want this.
Right.
And then the fact that she just makes it difficult for everyone involved.
Yes. I don't understand why people like
love
her.
her. People think she is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, she's just a menace.
She is.
She causes so much trouble.
Yeah. But there is they're reading Romeo and Juliet at school.
Blech.
So that
was me throwing up.
So there's an underlying theme. Kind of like, wasn't there in the first one, there was like an underlying theme?
I thought they did Romeo and Juliet in the first one too. No, only in New Moon.
No. They do Wuthering Heights in the third one.
Oh yeah, and the first one, Pride and Prejudice.
Was it?
She talked about reading Pride and Prejudice.
Oh yeah. Well,
I thought.
Anywho. So she goes to the birthday party. Thrown by Alice at the Cullens house.
How dare she?
And
I love in the movie how they're just like all like she walks in the door and then they're all just like standing around her and like open the gifts right now.
Right.
And I'm like, y'all don't want to sit or anything?
Yeah. She opens a box, an empty box, and it's a stereo for her truck.
Woo.
That Emmett has already installed.
What a good guy.
What a good guy. They're so nice.
They're so nice.
They really are.
And
they're
so
so
rich.
giving and so rich.
Yeah.
Although they could end world hunger and they don't, but
yeah. Edward does offer to buy her a car.
He does. He wants to buy her a nice car, and she's like, no. You already, because it's like, you've already given me so much. I'm already so like on a different level than you. If you give me more, it's just like, stop.
Let him buy you a car.
Yes, stop it. Like, I would love a car.
Yeah.
So just chill.
I don't know. You and I like refuse to let anybody buy us anything. But if I knew that they had that kind of money and like they literally have eternity.
They were insisting, I would not. If someone was insisting, I would not deny them.
Also, like the fact that he had to stop himself from buying it, like knowing Edward, he would have bought it already,
right,
and given it to her. But he's like, no, she'll just be pissed. Like,
right.
What? Whatever. Anyway, she opens up her sound system.
She starts to open up another gift. And
what happens?
She gets a little paper cut that literally
gushes
blood.
Gushes.
I've never had a paper cut.
No, the paper cuts hurt so bad because they're just slices.
Yes, it literally is just the skin, like the first layer, couple layers of skin. It's not to the bone.
She looked like she got her finger cut.
Yes, so a big old drops down. And everything kind of goes in slow motion. And Edward shoves her back against the credenza. And he turns and looks, and because Jasper is running toward her, trying to get at her. And he takes him and throws him into the piano. And the piano slams down.
Yes.
And
very violent for like something that he could have just been like, oh, stop.
Right.
Like, just make a wall.
Like, I also don't. Here's what I don't understand. Which in the book, it's explained more. Jasper's not around.
Yes.
When Bella's bleeding and stuff, but in the movie, he's like there when she's gushing blood. So
we caught him off guard.
I guess so. I guess he wasn't expecting it.
But yeah, it was very, very dramatic.
And then she had, of course, cut her arm on the glass, and that's really bad. And that's understandable why that was bleeding. Yes.
And then Carlisle, of course, thank God they have a doctor.
I know, right? Who is not afraid of blood at all.
Who's not. In fact, he loves it. No. He loves it.
He bathes in it every night.
He takes her to his office. Oh my gosh. That scene in the movie is like...
He's like pulling the glass out of her?
Yeah.
Or what do you mean?
When he's pulling the glass out of her and like sewing her up by himself. Why is that kind of like a sexy scene? Like,
because he's like very close, and he's like,
and she has
like
arm.
running his like fingers down her arm a little bit.
Yes, I could. See
She's
some
18 now.
He's like, Bella, I was saving you for myself. Oh my gosh! If I was Bella, if you had any smart bone in your body,
right?
Get rid of not Renesmee. Get rid of Esme. Anyway, so he stitches her up after Edward has to excuse himself.
Yes,
because he can't handle it.
Can't handle it. Even
and
though
he goes and tries to talk to Jasper. Yeah. They try to help everything with Jasper, and then Edward is the worst for
literally for the in the book for the next like week. He like
so awful.
Does not talk to her. Like it's like
her thoughts were like breaking my heart because she's literally like, he'll get over this. He'll
have to talk to me today, and then he doesn't. He like ignores. He's like, I'm gonna go, and like leaves. But she's also never direct. She never. No. I mean, which I can understand coming from someone who struggles to talk about their emotions, so I can understand that. Hindsight, but when you're reading, you're kind of like, just ask him straight up, like, what's going on? Why are you acting like this? You jerk.
And he's giving her the cold shoulder for like, and she thinks
like he's mad at her.
Yeah. And she's like the one being like, I'm sorry, like, and for no reason.
Right. And then he leads her one day. He shows up and tells her, hey, let's go to the woods again, because they always like to just talk in the woods.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Right. And he says, we're leaving. And she's like, okay. Where are we going?
Packing up my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell Charley. I don't know what to tell Charley, but let's go.
Here we go.
He's like, no. The family's leaving and you're staying here. And he basically just says, like, I don't want you anymore. And you're not good for me, and we gotta go. And you'll never.
It'll be like I was never there.
It'll be like I never existed.
Yes.
And he said, but promise me one thing, that you won't
do anything reckless.
Like, huh? That's just such a weird thing.
Yeah.
To ask when you're breaking up with someone.
But also, like, I still don't understand why she has to be so, like, accident prone.
I know.
It's, like, annoying.
It's weird.
And, like, everybody's so concerned.
That she's gonna, like...
That she's so accident prone and, like...
Yeah. But really, I never saw her... I don't know why my voice did that. I never saw her really be that accident prone. You know, like, she slipped and fell a couple times.
Dumb choices.
Well, I guess, but she slipped and fell a couple times, right? But then, like, the van coming to hit her wasn't her, like, fault. Like, I don't know.
Well, she's prone to accidents.
I guess so. I guess it's like they find her. So,
but
anyways,
why do you care, Edward?
He says, peace out, and he flits off to the woods, and she's like, wait, Edward, and she goes chasing after him into the woods until it gets dark. And she curls up in a ball on the floor, and people are looking for her.
She literally has an episode.
Yeah. She, like
catatonic.
Out.
Yeah.
And she hears some, like, snuffling on the ground in the woods.
Like a poopy.
Like a what?
A poopy dog.
At least like a poopy.
A poopy.
Like a poopy dog. And then some arms... Some hot arms.
Very strong, warm arms.
And bring her back to Charley. And it's this guy, Sam, that in the book, we met him in the book, actually, at the push. But we hadn't met him, I don't think,
in a while. Yeah.
So,
Bella's then...
We hear, like, people asking, did they really leave? Did the Cullens really leave? People are saying, yeah, like, Carlisle took a job in California, and they pieced out.
Like in the book, she was like, the last place anybody would ever think.
Yeah.
They would say that they were going. And I was like, okay, like, we got it.
Clearly everyone believed it, so.
Yeah.
So she's just, like, really sad. And
iconic scene commence.
Yes, it's the there's a possibility. And the camera just pans around her wearing the same outfit and showing the seasons change. And so October,
you
November.
See Edward, or not Edward.
Edward.
You see Edward watching. No, Charlie's like raking the leaves.
Yeah.
He like looks up at her. Also breaks my heart for him because I know he's I don't know what to do.
Literally, he's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And she's like having nightmares, waking up screaming. And he comes in to find her, and it kind of shows like eventually he kind of stops coming going to check.
That's so
because
sad.
It's like she just keeps doing it.
Oh.
And in the book, she's like working a job at the Newton hardware store. So that's like an integral part of her interactions with like Mike and stuff. But yeah, she just her dad's finally like, you gotta do something.
Yeah.
We gotta change this. You gotta snap out of it.
And he's like, you're going home to your mother.
Yes. And she's like, no, I can't leave Forks. And he's like, they're not coming back, Bella. And she's like, that's not why.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. So in the book, she doesn't realize that she's been acting.
Yeah, that's what was interesting to me because
like a zombie.
Yeah, she's like, she doesn't realize she doesn't talk at work. She didn't realize that she's not. She doesn't talk at school.
She doesn't talk to her friends.
Yeah, she like doesn't even realize it. She's just like going through the motions, literally. And
which is, it's sad. I mean, the grieving. Like I remember, especially reading in high school, like the grieving. I was right there with her. I was like, yes, where is Edward? I miss him.
I mean, your big emotions when you're a teenager. Yeah.
I knew because I was like, he's got to come back.
It's Edward and Bella.
Yeah, it's
just like Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
But he never came back, and months passed, and I was like, how have months passed? A long time. It's like, it's January now at this point. She was like, in the book, she's like, it's a year ago whenever I first came here. Mm-hmm. And so she does tell her dad that she will go hang out with Jessica.
Like, fine, I'll go hang out with Jessica.
Fine. Yeah. I was totally gonna do that. She shows up at school again and kind of like starts talking to people,
and they're like, what the heck? Yeah.
And then
shocked.
Mike's like, so are you back? And she's like, yeah, I guess.
Mike needs to take a hint.
Mike never takes a hint. Like, you really want this girl to.
Yeah.
Who is clearly still hung up on another guy, and you want her? Like, take 2 whole steps back.
Yeah. I don't know. She can't like tell you any other way that she's not interested.
Right.
She's literally told you, I'm not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So she does go out with Jessica.
Mm-hmm. In the book.
In the movie too.
Really?
Yeah. They go to the movies.
Yes. I'm so dumb. Yeah.
They go to the movies, and she doesn't want to see a romance film.
Yeah,
so
she wants to see zombies.
She wants to see people getting ripped apart. So
can relate.
What?
Can relate.
Can relate. Yes. So they're out on the street, and she sees some guys across the way that remind her of the creepy, rapey guys from the first.
From Twilight.
Yes. And she's like, kind of goes over to them. And this is in the book. I mean, she does in the movie too, but they take it a little further in the movie.
Where he's literally.
I get it's like, I guess they're trying to like make it more
apparent,
exciting or whatever. But so she goes up to this guy like on a motorcycle, and she's like, hey. And he's like, hey,
hop on,
pretty
baby.
lady.
Yeah.
You want to hop on? And suddenly this apparition of Edward is there.
And he's like, no.
And he's like, don't do it, Bella. And she's like, what? And then the guy's like, get on my bike. And she's like, okay. So she gets on the bike, and he's like, you promised you wouldn't do anything reckless. And then she's like, you promised it'd be like you never existed. And then she races off on the bike, and he keeps like popping up. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's just like his torso like up.
He's like, Bella, stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's her way of being able to see him. And she realizes, oh, I can see him like actually really clearly
if
I do kind of something crazy
and reckless, stupid and reckless.
So she basically abandoned Jessica again.
And in the book, she literally was like talking about how she used Jessica. She was like, I used Jessica
so that my dad would think I'm like doing better.
Yeah. And then after this, Jessica is so mad at her for doing that.
And she's like, Jessica, why is she mad at me? Like,
yeah, she's literally so confused. She's like, when's she going to get over this? And then she also she was like, well, it seems like Jessica's as miserable as I was now at the beginning of the night. And I was like, you want your friend to be miserable?
Yeah, like, girl.
And then she said that thing that you said last week where she was like, I was like Angela better because she left me alone.
Right.
Like,
she doesn't ask too many questions.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
And Jessica was like willing to go out like with her. Like,
after being ghosted.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I'll go
like,
out. Like,
she was a good friend. Like, that's what a good friend does. Literally.
Back there for you.
Yes. Even when you're depressed, like, she is there for you to pick you up. But like, there's only so much like she can do.
She has self-respect too.
Yeah. So, back up. Bella is driving and she sees some motorbikes on the side of the road, and she decides, this is what I want to do.
Something stupid and reckless.
Yes, this is perfect. But how am I gonna possibly redo these things? I know a mechanic.
She knew a mechanic.
So she takes the bikes to La Push, and we see Jacob Black.
With long hair.
And just the cutest little smile.
The cutest
and
little
he's
smile.
Like, Bella, where the hell have you been, loca? It's the most iconic
line.
Yeah. And he gives her a big hug, and she's like, been around.
Oh, he's so tall.
I know.
And strong.
I just love he's just so sweet.
I know. That's what his whole family, like, I feel like that, like, not that the Cullens weren't sweet, but they're so warm
and welcoming
and like carefree. And I was honestly thinking, like, okay, let me try and look at this. Between Edward and Jacob would make you laugh.
Yeah.
Jacob would take you to have fun.
Right.
And that's what I want for the rest of my life.
He would he's going to challenge you.
Yes.
To like do things out of your comfort zone.
Do fun things and like go and meet new people. Whereas, and he also like has a strong like family bond tie.
Whereas Edward is going to put you in a plastic bubble.
Yeah. You're going to go lay in that dang meadow and you're going to stare at each other, and that's all you're ever going to do.
Right.
How do you like that?
And this is definitely where I was leaning towards Team Jacob.
Oh, yeah. I think you're supposed to.
Yes. Because he just brings like this light into her life that obviously she was missing.
And makes her laugh.
Yes. And he agreed to like help her with the bikes. So she goes over there all the time, is helping with the bikes. And, they're like doing their homework together. And they're just like, in the book, I think it's like a month or something just passed, and she literally goes over there every day, and they like talk on the phone, and they're just like they're best friends.
Yes,
truly. And then it's time to ride the motorbikes. And what happens?
So, of course, the motorbikes, they're ready. Jacob does a great job. Good little mechanic. And he's going to teach Bella how to do it. And because Bella is incompetent and stupid, she does it wrong. And she ends up crashing and hits her head. Oh yeah, she hits her head.
But she saw Edward.
Oh, yes. She
him
did
being
see
like,
Edward.
stop,
so it did
stop
work.
doing that. And she's like, no.
It did work for her to see Edward. And then she gets hurt.
Of course. She hits her head on a rock. Like Howl.
Yeah.
Jacob comes and he takes his shirt off.
Yes.
And puts to her head.
Yeah.
And she's like, damn.
Yeah.
You kind of beautiful, boy.
Yeah, she does say, "Did you know you're kind of beautiful?" And he was like, "You really hit your head."
Yeah.
And yeah, so cringy. And then she has to go to the hospital and get stitches in the book. Does she do in the movie? No.
No, not in the movie.
No. All of this is being kept secret from Charley because Charley would have a cow.
Right.
So the bikes, she's like, okay, we'll do that another time. We'll like ride them another time.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, what are they doing?
So she's at school, and Mike Newton is like, we should go to a movie. And she's like, yeah, let's get a group together.
Yeah.
Let's get a huge group together and go to the movies. We'll invite this person. And he's like, okay, sure. Yeah.
If that's not tell enough.
Right. So she invites Jacob and some of Jacob's friends too. And so Jacob shows up to the movies, and Mike shows up to the movies. And then honestly, this scene is so good. It's so
uncomfy.
It's so uncomfy, and I love it in the movies. It's really funny.
It's really good.
So everyone else couldn't make it. They all got sick.
Shows up.
They couldn't make it, and
because of flu's going around.
Yes, flu's going around in the book. They don't mention it. They mention it because Mike is sick, but
not that everybody has it.
Not that everyone. It was going around because Bella gets it in the book, but not in the movie.
Yeah.
So they're at the movie, and it's just Mike and Jacob, and
Bella's in the middle.
And there's a moment where they each have their hand up,
like ready to be
on the
held.
armrest. It's just the pan over, and her just like looking at.
Bella looks up which
she's
hand.
Like, oh my gosh!
And
so she's like crosses her arms.
She's like, no, I don't date.
I don't really date. And
halfway through the
movie, Mike gets sick.
Sickies.
And runs out. They follow him out, which I wouldn't.
No, that's weird. Like,
I wouldn't.
If he needed to like go
come back for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, then
but I wouldn't immediately follow him out.
No, that's kind of weird.
So he runs out, and they follow him, and he's clearly getting sick, and Jacob and Bella are sitting on the stairs, and he's like, that guy.
Oh my gosh, he's being so awful.
He's starting to
get a little angry,
and awful. Mm-hmm. And Mike comes out, and he's like, I wasn't sick because of the movie. I think I was sick before. And I don't remember what he says, but then Jacob's like, don't make me angry. Or he's like, don't. He gets so like aggressive. And Mike's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what did I do? And then Jacob's like, I gotta go. And because he was like burning up.
Yes.
And he like runs out. And in the book, Bella, like I said, gets sick, and she's like calling Jacob, and she finds out that, he must have gotten sick too, whatever's going around.
But it's like a 24-hour thing, so it should be
she's
done.
Fine. And so then keeps calling Jacob, and Billy keeps saying that he's sick and he can't come to the phone. Mm-hmm. And like a week passes, he doesn't call her back. Another week passes, he doesn't call her back. And so she decides, I'm gonna go there.
I would never.
Yeah, I would just be like, well, I don't know, maybe if it was you. You know what I mean? Like, if it was like a good, like a best friend, someone that you were seeing every day, like, and talking to every day, and like they just were not getting back to you for weeks. Mm-hmm. I might be like,
I'll do a wellness check.
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
Hello.
So
I guess I would, but I don't know if you like lived with your parents. I'd be like, well, hope they got her covered. I don't know. Yeah. So she goes to La Push and to check on Jacob, and Billy's not happy that she's there.
No, but Jacob's there. In the movie, he's just like walking in the rain. This whole scene takes place in the rain. And she's like, and he's definitely different. In the book, it describes that he's like now 6'7" and huge, muscly, and his hair is all cut off.
Giant. In
the book, in the movie, I would say the only difference is that his hair is short.
Yes.
Otherwise,
he
buff. Looks the same.
Yeah.
But he's like, walking around all shirtless and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's like, why haven't you called me back? And he's like, we can't be friends anymore.
And all of his friends, that she's concerned that he was falling into the gang.
Oh yeah, because Sam's gang. It seems like one by one his friends are cutting their hair, joining Sam's gang.
Yeah, and so she's like, you don't have to do this. Yeah. Like, just let's quit. And he's like, no, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, we're not friends. I'm not good for you. I'm not good. That's what he says.
I'm not good.
And then
She's heartbroken again.
She's heartbroken again. Which is really sad.
It is sad.
Because like everything she just went through, and she was finally getting herself back, and then this happens.
Especially in the book too, she was like, I feel really bad for like neglecting all my friends and my mom, and like I'm gonna really try, and then this happens and she's upset again.
Yeah. He does say, the funny thing is, you already know. You already know.
Oh, so aggressive.
And she's like, huh? I already know?
Yeah, she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
She didn't assume that any other supernatural anything
could
possibly be true.
Like, vampires are real, so why don't...
There's no limit.
Yeah, like, seriously. Why do you... And he, like you said, he does say this later, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Because, well, I don't think that's when he says you actually know. He shows up later to her house.
At her house, yes.
And climbs through her window.
Yeah.
And apologizes for how he was. Mm-hmm. And that's when he's like, you already know. Think about it. I already told you when I wasn't supposed to tell you when I didn't think it was real. I didn't, And she's like, okay. In the movie, it's quicker. She has a dream and remembers. In the book... it takes her so long to put 2 and 2 together.
But then she still just gets it from her dream.
Yes. It doesn't make any sense. She's like, he says something about cold ones and wolves.
And
are the quilly ones? What? That doesn't...
yeah.
Must be something else.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's been some more animal attacks. Mm-hmm. And there's been some wolf sightings.
Which Bella was the one to confirm first.
Yes. Yeah.
She told Charley that it's not a bear, it's a wolf.
Right. Oh, we missed a very important scene.
The very important scene.
This was she decided she was going to go find the meadow.
That dang meadow.
Because she wants to see Edward's again, or she hopes she'll get there and see him.
Yeah.
So she goes hiking through the woods by herself. This is when Jacob wasn't calling her back. Mm-hmm. And she gets to the meadow, and she's like, wow, this is dead. The meadow's literally dead. Mm-hmm.
Just like my love.
Just like my love and my life.
Yes.
And my heart and my eyes.
My entire body.
And when she's there, she sees someone familiar.
Who could it be?
The book 1. It is Laurent.
From the other vampire coven.
Yes.
That came part of James and Victoria. Mm-hmm. And
it was made to think that he had gone to the good side, but...
Yes. He had gone to Denali and lived with some of Edward's cousins for a while. And then he... Bella thought, like, oh, a friend, friendly face. Then you look closer, and his eyes are red. So that means he's a bad guy.
Yeah, and he says, oh, I was told to come here and see if the Cullens were really gone because Victoria was looking for you.
Yes.
Because she wants to kill you.
And I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you right away. But she would have tortured you, so thank me.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Edward's like, lie to him better, Bella.
Which I don't know what she's supposed to do.
Right. She was like, well, I'll tell them you came. Bye.
Yeah.
But he didn't believe her, obviously. She's also not a very good liar.
No.
And then all of a sudden, some wolves show up. Big, giant wolves show up and chase down Laurent. Mm-hmm. And this is when she should have freaking put 2 and 2 together, that these big ass wolves didn't touch her but ran after him. And she also made eye contact with one who literally was Jacob,
Literally Jacob.
And she still was like, man, that Laurent would have killed all those wolves. Why did Laurent run? That doesn't make any sense. He shouldn't have run.
And also,
I guess all the wolves are dead.
Has she never seen a wolf before?
Right.
Like, they're
not
that
what they
giant.
Are supposed to look like.
That was bigger than a bear.
And there was like 7 of them. Like, girl, that's when she should have known. And
at the very least, she should have known as soon as Jacob started mentioning anything.
As soon as he was like, you already know, I already told you. She should have been like,
werewolves. Yeah.
But no, she still drew out.
Thinking about the vampires.
And then when she finally did figure out that it was the wolves, she was like, they're killing all those people.
Yeah, dummy. She's like, would I still like Edward if he was a murderer? Yeah. Am I still gonna like Jacob if he's a murderer? Yeah. Like, she literally said, she kept being like, well, love wants what it wants. Basically, like,
she's like, but he has to stop. Like, I won't be friends with him if he won't stop killing people. Like,
it's so dumb.
And so she shows back up at the house, and she's like, Jacob's sleeping, and all the, brothers, dudes, shirtless guys are there, and she's getting all mad. She's like, what did you guys do to him? He doesn't want to be a part of this. What did you do? What are you guys doing? And then one of the werewolves, Paul, he gets really mad, and he turns into a wolf.
Rawr.
And then she runs away, and Jacob's running out, and again,
so dumb.
She's like, Jacob, run.
Yeah, she's like, there's a werewolf, like, run away.
Like,
and he's like, you dumb. Yeah.
Because
he lives there.
She's so stupid.
I know.
Girl,
and then he turns into a werewolf. And she's like, huh?
He's a werewolf? I really do like that scene in the movie.
Oh, it's so good.
Whenever he's running out, he's like leaping over stuff. And then the transitions, like, CGI is pretty good because he like leaps and it literally turns into a wolf as he jumps over her. I love it.
They fight.
A
play fight.
Yeah, and then kind of go off into the woods, and then the other pack members are like, come on with us, and Bella's like, okay. So they go to like this house, and they learn about Emily, and they're like, don't look at her face.
Oh, sad.
And she goes in, and she's like, so you're the vampire girl. She's like, so you're the wolf girl.
Yeah.
And we find out that
who would be the wolf girl and who would be the vampire girl?
Of us?
Yeah.
You're vampire girl.
Oh, you're right.
You're vampire, I'm wolf.
I know, but like I crave that, like,
I know.
Joyous, and
you just are. It's just like, it's the vibe.
You're just so golden retriever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so like bat.
Thank you.
Bats are like the flying puppies. Like, have you heard that?
Chirp, chirp, chirp. Don't they like chirp, 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 chirp?
I think so. They have razor sharp teeth.
Just like, not really. Anyway, you're the wolf girl, which is weird. Yeah. That she said that to someone she just met.
Right. Well.
Anyway, Bella's weird.
Well, we learned that Sam transformed too close to Emily, and so she got her face cut up.
Scratchied.
And that's why Jacob thinks he's dangerous. Blah, blah, blah.
Because they can't control their emotions, apparently.
Right.
Instinct.
Yes.
Which also, they make more of a deal about it in the book, that, like, they are actually, like, a wolf pack.
Yeah.
Like, if the alpha says something, like, you have to do it. Like, you cannot go against it. They can also read each other's minds
when they're wolves from, like, really far distances.
Yeah. Which is way cooler than vampires.
I know. It is cool.
Werewolves are just kind of...
Although they make it in the book, it's like, it's an issue because they can like almost feel each other's emotions through thoughts.
Yes.
And so like if he was like imagining himself like doing something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can see that. Like, so yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's not, still, I think I am leaning more towards like liking the werewolves because
they're just cool.
They're all instinctually wanting to protect humans.
Yeah.
And the vampires instinctually want to kill.
And humans. The Cullens are the exception.
Yes.
So now Bella knows. She knows everything. Finally, I literally had to spell it out for her.
Finally.
Dumb
she
bat.
knows. She starts hanging out with them a bit. And they also find out why Victoria's there.
Right.
Because Bella's like, she wants me.
Right. So they're going to keep watch on her, keep watch on on everything. So she feels better about that. And there was one day where her and Jacob were supposed to go cliff jumping.
Yeah.
Again, she's chasing this like thrill.
Oh my gosh. In the book, I just got to this part today where she was like, date with Jacob, date with Edward. I laughed. And I was like, you're horrible.
And she is like leading him on
so hard,
so much.
And he like, she'll let him hold her hand, like she doesn't care.
And she's like, I shouldn't let him hold my hands.
But
it doesn't mean the same thing. And she's like, but oh well.
Yeah, but he's warm, so we're gonna keep holding his hand.
Right, like girl, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she goes to, but Jacob can't make it, so she's like, I'm gonna go by myself again.
Stupid.
How does that ever work out for you? So she goes and she's looking to jump off the cliff, and she sees Edward and he's like, don't do it. And she's like, I'm gonna. So she does. She jumps off and immediately is hit by all these rocks, and
because like the current.
Yes, because she's again,
and a storm was coming, so like it was bad.
So then she's like drowning essentially, and she sees some like red.
What could that
in
be?
The water, and she's like, "What is that fire on the water?" Again, so stupid.
Dumb.
Oh, there's a fire on the ocean. What, girl?
You know, the fire on the water.
Fire that always happens on the water.
That's always on the water.
So of course she has to get rescued again by Jacob. He pulls her out.
Oh, but there's that scene in the water when she's looking at Edward.
Oh yeah, and he's like floating by her, and she's like, "I'm gonna die happy."
Yeah, stupid. Yeah. Anyway, she gets saved by Jacob. If I was these boys, I'd be like so annoyed.
Yes,
because like she chose to do that. Let's see. Think of the other ones I have to say. Okay, in the first one, she didn't like choose to be stalked or anything, but she wasn't exactly smart about it. She was going by herself in a city.
Yeah.
Going down alleys.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, like do better next time, you know?
Just be smart. She just isn't smart.
No, she's not smart.
Ever. Until book 4.
Also, yes. Also, this one pissed me off too, because when Jacob saves her, she's like, oh my gosh, like I saw Edward, so happy, whatever, in her mind. And then we find out that Harry had a heart attack.
Yes, Harry, which is the good friend of the fam, he had a heart attack.
And he knows about the wolves.
Yes.
That scene is so sad too.
Yeah. In the book they don't say, obviously it's from Bella's point of view. In the movie, it's like Victoria's there, and she kind of scares him, makes him have a heart attack.
Yes, because we kind of forgot to talk about, so there's some volunteers, and also the police are searching the woods for these giant wolves.
Yeah.
And Bella went and was trying to warn them, like, but she was conflicted. She was like, should I tell them?
Right.
Because they're killing people. She thought that the werewolves were killing people.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, no evidence that they were, but whatever. And they're like, no, we're not trying to kill the people.
Yeah.
We're trying to protect y'all from
the
the vampire is the one that's killing all the people.
She's like, oh, what?
Yeah. And then that's when she finds out Victoria's back, and she loses her mind. So Harry was out tracking the wolves, quote unquote wolves, but he was covering up evidence and stuff. In the movie he's like covering up the tracks and like, you know, trying to make sure they don't find the werewolves. And then Victoria scares him. He has a heart attack. And in the book, Bella's like, oh, nobody needs to be worrying about me right now. Poor Harry. And you're like, yeah. Like, you do not think about anybody but yourself. No,
she doesn't until afterwards. Then she's like,
yeah.
But there's still an element of like, poor me.
Yes.
And undertone while she's trying to be unselfish.
And I was so mad that Jacob like took her and like made sure she was okay. And I was like, Harry's gonna die. Like, you need to not do that. But whatever.
But Jacob takes her back to her house, and we do find out that Harry has died.
Yes. Which is sad.
And as Jacob is taken to the house. He gets there's a car there and a whiff of something.
And he's like,
there's a vampire here. So he tries to like drive away. She's like, no, that's Carlisle's car. I know that car. That's Carlisle's car. And so she's like, I'm going to go in. It's fine. And he's like, I can't protect you here if they're back. Can't protect you. She's like, I don't need protection from them. She runs inside. He's like, fine.
Yeah.
Because
angry.
He's all angry boy now. Emo boy.
Yes. He's going through like second puberty.
Yeah, seriously. So she goes inside and Alice is there.
What?
And she's like, Bella, how are you alive right now?
Yeah.
She's like, what? She's like, I saw you jump off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
You tried to kill yourself. And you did. And then it like disappeared. And she's like, no, I was saved.
Yeah.
I was
like
doing
a few
that.
hours ago, I was like saved. Yeah.
She's like, I was doing that for recreational purposes.
Right.
And she doesn't understand why she couldn't see her. And Jacob comes in. And that also catches her off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And she realizes that the wolves are wolves now.
Mm-hmm.
And that they stink.
Yes.
But that her visions cannot see anything to do with the wolves.
Yes.
So they kind of just disappear.
Mechanism.
Yeah. So Bella's just like so happy to see Alice.
Yes.
Like she's gonna like claw her eyes out. She's so happy to see her.
She's so excited. Yeah.
Yes. And she doesn't want to say Edward's name, but we learn about like what everyone's been doing, and then kind of learn that Edward's been in Rio de Janeiro, just right? Is that where it was?
Yeah, like wallowing.
Like
in Rio.
Like you literally did this, so can you not?
Yeah. At least go somewhere stupid, like not Rio de Janeiro,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
Go somewhere like Austin. I don't know.
Austin.
Like somewhere
they
not
can't go
fun.
there. Well, why did he go to Rio? Like it's sunny there.
Isn't that where they have their honeymoon?
Isn't
later?
it? Mm-mm. I don't think
they
so.
have it in.
I don't know where. Oh, maybe it is.
Because that's like foreshadowing because they have like the island.
Oh right.
Remember?
Wow.
So maybe he's there.
I didn't even put two and two together. Anyways,
he's there living his life.
Bella is so excited that Alice is there, and Jacob's there, and they're kind of like mad at each other. Just Jacob and Alice, because they're different
mortal
species.
enemies.
Yeah. And Alice like leaves to let them talk, and Jacob's like, look, you can have me. Basically. He's like, I'm here, I'm real,
I'm the
like,
one that's here.
Yes,
I love you. Yeah. Not really, but
he doesn't say I love you yet.
But we can tell.
But we know. And there's like a moment where like they're gonna kiss, and the phone rings, and then Jacob answers it, and he's like, Salon residence. And then he gets all upset. He's like, he's not here. He's planning a funeral. And
hangs up.
And Bella's like, who was that? In the book, he's like, it was Carlisle. Because that's who he said it was. And she's like, we should have let me talk to him. And all this stuff.
Angry.
But in the movie, it's like he knows it was Edward that asked. And she's like, why didn't you let me talk to him? He's like, he didn't ask for you. He asked for Charley.
Oh, my God.
And then Alice comes in, and she's like, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Edward's
something not good.
going to kill himself. And
just so hypocritical of Edward.
It is so
pick me, so annoying.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's, ugh. Anyways.
It's like using something that's like a mental illness.
Yes.
As like a way to get back at, like, you
right.
know.
Which also happens in the third. When we get to Eclipse next week, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
But so Bella's like,
we have to stop him.
We have to stop him. They're going to go to Volterra, and is that Romania? In Romania, where there's a city that's like the vampire city. The vampires like control it, but of course, it's all a secret, and that's the rules. These Volturi that Carlisle was with at one point. It's this whole history there. They keep all the rules, so they don't want them to be exposed.
Yeah, that's like number one rule: do not break, or we'll kill you.
Yeah, and that's Edward's plan. He's going to expose himself.
Literally,
he's literally going to expose himself. Not literally.
No,
he's going to expose his vampireness.
Yeah,
vampiric.
Which is so weird because like, what are they gonna? It's in the middle of like a festival, so everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, a sparkly guy."
Yeah,
like they're not gonna be like vampire.
I know. I wouldn't
like
think,
nobody else.
Yeah,
knows.
I'd be like, "Ooh, this is the show, a magic show." Like you can
be like,
play it off.
Tip jar. Yeah.
But I guess it's the intent behind it. So Alice sees that he's gonna do that during this big festival,
and she's like, "Crap."
And Bella's like, "I gotta go," and Jacob's like, "No, you need to stay," and she's like, "No, I gotta go. I'm gonna go." And so they rush off to Romania because they are going to save Edward.
Did they ever say like where they told Charley they were going?
They didn't tell him. I mean, he was all busy with the funeral stuff.
Right.
So they just left.
They leave. It's beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
They get a super nice car.
Why didn't Edward agree to? Well, I guess he had to get there too, because like that makes sense. Okay, never mind. Because I was like, because it was probably like 2 days of travel for them, like because they have to go on plane.
Yes.
So, they steal a car. Yeah.
They steal a car, very nice car, and they have to like drive through these city streets very recklessly, but they do it. And they're having some sort of festival. Do we know what festival it is?
It's to celebrate some saint.
Yes, and they're all wearing like these red menacing
robes and like vampire teeth, because it's like the lore, you know.
Yes. So it's like crazy. And Bella's running through. They have to make it by midday whenever
noon,
the sun.
He's gonna step out.
So
Alice like, you have to go because he'll see me coming. He'll read my thoughts and see me coming, and he won't believe me. So you have to go. And so she's like running through the streets. It's very dramatic in the movie. And it's like slow mo. She's like, I was just thinking about those extras. She's like shoving them out of the way. I would feel offended.
I'd be like,
if I had to be that extra, even though like, I'd be like, Kristen Stewart just hit me.
There's no reason
like, that's rude
for it to be that aggressive, but whatever. Yeah.
But she sees the clock strike noon, and she sees him stepping out, his little sparkly body, across the fountain. So she has to run through the fountain, and she pushes him back into the shadows. And he's like, this is what heaven feels like.
Yeah, he literally thinks he's in heaven, which is so dumb.
And she's like, no, it's me.
It's real life. It's not
heaven. And then it just like,
everything really kind of just goes crazy from
there.
Yeah.
It's just so abrupt. She's like, you didn't have to kill yourself. Like, I'm alive. And then the guard of the Volturi show up, and they're like, come with us. And Jacob, Edward's like, no.
Yeah.
And then Alice is like, we're going. Like, it's just like, whatever.
It's very chaotic. They somehow make it down to the Volturi thing. And we see that the Volturi runs like tours of their little castle.
Yeah.
But really they just eat everybody, which also makes no sense, because I'm like, they're going to know like that hordes of people are being killed all the time. Yeah. But anyway, so they're in their little chamber, and we meet the Volturi. Caius,
Arrow, and I don't remember the other one's name.
Arrow is the
main one.
The main one.
They're creepy old dudes.
Very creepy. Arrow is terrifying.
Yeah.
And they are just so interested in this little dynamic. And Arrow has an ability where if you hold his hand, he can see every thought you've ever thought. Yes.
Which is interesting.
Very weird.
Yes. So, you know, they talk, and they're like, well, maybe we should kill Bella because she's not supposed to know. And Alice is like, no, I promise she's going to be changed. And she shows him the vision. And he's like, well, why don't y'all like stay?
Why don't y'all join?
And they're like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And then there's like this huge, in the movie, there's like this fight scene where Edward is just getting thrown around by his neck.
Yeah.
Just
and
like
his head starts
tossing,
cracking.
Yeah. And I don't really understand. He's just like defending Bella, I guess, but that does not happen in the books at all.
Yeah.
They're just like standing there. I just had to make it like
and who's Dakota
fight.
Fanning?
Oh, Jane.
And
she has the ability to like torture people with her mind.
Really feel a lot of pain.
Which that did happen. But Bella
is immune.
She's immune, and she's also immune to Ara's ability. So that's an interesting. Sorry.
That's why they want her to be a vampire, because they're gonna be like, this is the super vampire.
Right. So, but they let them go and say, we'll love to see you when you're a vampire. Like, don't forget to be become a vampire,
like,
or we will kill you
very, very soon when you're a vampire.
Yeah. And then that's when they walk out and all the people are walking in, which is really sexy. There's like a bunch of little kids and stuff. And they just hear like screaming.
They die.
Yeah. And then
they return.
And everything's normal. But Edward's back.
It's like Jacob never existed.
Literally.
To Bella.
It really is. Yep. She's like,
does not care.
So obsessed. And one thing is that Edward's like, she's like, you said you didn't want me anymore. And he's like, and you so easily believe me. I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You literally said, I don't want you anymore, and ran away. Yeah. Like, what is she supposed to think?
She's not Mike.
Right.
She won't keep coming.
She's not Mike. She's going to believe you.
She's going to believe you.
When you say that.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to do. Just believe them when they say it.
Yes.
You know? And he's just like, oh, you believe me so easily. It's like, duh.
And he's still like, if he really thought like, I don't know, he obviously saw that she's struggling.
Right.
And so he had all this time to come back. Yeah. If he really wanted to be back.
Right.
And save her from this misery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wasn't getting any better.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But anyways, Charley is super mad and hates Edward now.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. Honestly. He had to see what she went through when he was gone.
He ran off and didn't see the pain.
Yes. And so they have a moment where Jacob wants to talk to Edward. So they go to the woods, of course.
Of course.
And he's like, hey, the treaty stands.
Mm-hmm.
We stay on our side, you stay on your side, whatever. And he does find out that Bella will be turned, and he gets super mad and turns into a wolf. And basically, like, it's just, Bella literally is like, I fought so hard for her friendship, and now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, literally like, well,
none of it matters.
Thanks for helping me out during that time.
Right.
But, like, bye.
Yeah. She's like, I'm sorry, Jake, but, like, I can't, you know. And, anyways,
I love Edward.
Edward says, I have one condition on changing you, and that is if you'll marry me. And she's like, huh? And then it
yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember when I watched that for the first time.
You're like,
I was like,
marriage.
Yeah, I freaked out.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I was like, oh my gosh, because then you're like, they're gonna get married. They're going to. We know that.
Yeah.
So
and that was the end.
That was New Moon.
It's so good.
And we
so dramatic.
So we still don't know what happens to Victoria. She's still kind of
Victoria's still
red
on
herring.
Loose.
No, red herring. Is
red
that the
hair.
Right word? She's red herring.
Jacob has been discarded like a
dog.
Tissue. Yeah. And the Cullens are back, baby.
They are back, and they are, I guess, stronger than ever.
Back better than ever. I just, like, it's so weird that, like, thinking about the history of the Cullens, that they, like, come back together, but then, like, leave, and, like, you know, sometimes some of them will leave, some of them will come back. I'm like, that's so weird. I don't know.
It is weird. But
I guess if you can't spend 107 years
yeah,
with
you kind of need a break from each other. Yeah. I get that, for sure. So, that was New Moon, y'all.
New Moon, y'all.
Next week, we'll be talking about eclipse.
Total eclipse out of heart. Did you see the moon on Sunday?
No.
Saturday.
I didn't walk outside at all.
It was so beautiful. It was like orange, like yellow, like looked like new moon.
Notifications when the moon is pretty.
Because there's something like that.
I don't ever go outside at night. Hardly ever.
I was just driving and it was so pretty.
Well, too bad I missed it.
Gorgeous. Yeah, now it's like ugly.
Ugly and white
it's
again.
Like more than half. It's like
it's not like a crescent, but it's not like a full, and it's not even like a
blob.
Little apple.
It's a blob.
It's too bad.
Too bad.
Can't wait for that new moon.
Have you ever seen an eclipse?
I think so. Wasn't there one a few years ago?
Yeah.
There's going to be another one in April, I think.
Really?
Total eclipse. There's like a total eclipse in Dallas. It's like coming through Dallas.
Oh, should we go to Dallas in
April? We should, I think.
And dress up like
characters.
Edward and Bella? Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Okay, sounds good. Guys, if you want to follow us, you can follow us.
On Instagram at /SlashandSlayPod.
TikTok at /SlashandSlayPod.
YouTube?
YouTube?
At /SlashandSlayPod?
Yeah, if you want.
If you want.
And we're so excited that you're joining us for this Twilight month.
Tell us how much you like New Moon.
Yeah, tell us your favorite. Tell us your favorite parts.
Yes.
Yeah, we post fun stuff on Instagram about it, so follow us there to interact.
If you want to see a picture of me looking like Bella.
Yeah.
Then go. And Alyssa dressed up like Charley.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Very sexy.
We love you guys.
I love you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.